have acknowledged that you just can't be out here hitting people in the head no more. Right? Like we recognize there are issues that come with that, all that. Got you. All I'm saying is take a poll of NBA players and be like, would you rather take an elbow to the dome or a kick square in the ball? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. By the way, on YouTube, check out Unblock Me Bo. We got an episode up there. Also, keep it in mind, a voicemail video. Call 860-516-4119. Let us know about that time you saw somebody, maybe even yourself, get yanked up out of school by their mama because they were misbehaving. Oh, yeah. You hadn't thought about that story in a while, had you? Go ahead and let us know. You might get to hear your voice on the show. It is Wednesday. It is that day of week. We have a guest join us coming to us live from scenic Phoenix, Arizona, from Yahoo Sports. Vinnie Goodwill, what's going on?
Scenic Phoenix. Are you talking about the people in Arizona, or are you talking about, the scenery?
The scenery. Like, I haven't really been in Arizona long enough to see the people. Let me tell you this, though. I've done that Arizona road tripping, and buddy, it is for the birds. Like, have you done a cross-country drive?
I have not, and I don't want to.
So I had to do Atlanta to Cali, Cali to Atlanta, and I've done a Cali to North Carolina.
How long is that drive?
One time we got Cali to Atlanta done in 29 hours one time. We got Cali to Atlanta once in 35, but we intentionally took a bad route so we could make some stops. But that was nonstop. That's back when I was a youth. But hey, man, I want to ask you this, because you and I were talking about something that we'll get to about just kind of the tenor of these playoffs so far. But I'm not really here for all this. The replay is killing me. Like, have some confidence in your ability to do your job. Like, have some trust in the officials. They're not going to get everything right. The goal is not to get every call right. The goal is to manage the game as efficiently as possible. And I'm just sick of looking at all these videos, right? Like, reviewing whether or not this is something to kick somebody out of a game for or whatever, But I am getting thrown off by all these dudes that are doing stuff to get thrown out of games, sometimes legitimately to get thrown out of games. But I don't even really feel like they getting their money's worth, right? Like, even a play like Dillon Brooks on Tuesday night where he got Gary Payton and broke his elbow. It was a dirty play, but it wasn't like a hard foul, right? Like it wasn't like it was McHale and Rambis. It's not like these dudes are sending messages to let people know what will or will not be tolerated. Like the same thing with Draymond Green. And that, as I looked at it, I thought that was a ridiculous ejection. And then I saw one angle where basically he just slapped that dude in the face and then pulled him to the ground. And I was just like, no, they got to do that. They don't really have an option on this. But even that, I don't feel like that dude got his money's worth.
Draymond is an interesting one for me because Draymond has a quote-unquote reputation, Bo. But he only has 2 flagrant fouls in the history of his career before now in the postseason. He's got 2 of them, except we remember both of them. One came against our guy, the Tooth.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And the other one was the LeBron one, right? He doesn't have any other ones besides those. You know what I mean? So when you say reputation, I get it. Now the angle that was like from the stands, you know what I mean? From like that vertical, like horizontal angle, and you see him club the guy, and then he's like, oh, I didn't get you hard enough, so I got to pull you down. Like, absolutely, that's a flagrant 2 in today's game. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to pretend and be a hypocrite and act like I didn't see Rick Mahorn do something similar to that. You know what I mean? But in today's game, absolutely. Now, the Dillon Brooks one, I just felt like that was wild reckless.
It was reckless.
It's just reckless. Like, you can't tell me if you weren't trying to hurt him. And I don't know if he was or wasn't, but you got to tell me what you were trying to do. Like, it literally looked like he flew off of the ropes and was coming down with like an Undertaker clothesline across a dude's head. That's what it looked like. And I was going for the ball. How? His head was in the way. And once again, it's Dylan Brooks, so everybody's gonna have their, opinions of him. And that was just wild, reckless. But we didn't need 5 minutes to determine that. You could have seen you saw the first with the wind up and impact. Once I saw the first one, I'm like, oh yeah, he's gone. We don't need 5 minutes for that. Just get him up out of here and keep it moving.
Yeah, and I guess they have to a degree, because I never think of something like a flagrant foul, or what used to be the intentional foul, all of those, as a letter of the law thing. Right? Like they're trying to eliminate interpretation on any of these things. And I'm okay with interpretation, but I think interpretation becomes a different animal in the discussion with all the gambling. Like, especially with these flagrants adding points, they go to suspensions and everything else. Like, there are a lot of consequences that I think maybe require all of this, but it's killing me, man. There's no reason why any of these games should take more than 2 hours and 15 minutes at this, like, at least in this round. It shouldn't be that, but we are checking every single thing, and I hate it. Like, I've loved the basketball. I am hating that we got to go back and look at every single play.
It's killing the flow. It kills the flow of, like, the lather of the game. Like, if you're in a rhythm, no matter if it's a good game or bad game, you look up. I forgot what call that they reviewed yesterday, and it was like this common foul. And I feel like there should be somebody, literally, whether it's an alternate official or someone like that, that's sitting there and be like, y'all, we don't need to review this. You come up to the scorer's table, you talk to, Scott Foster, before Scott puts his headphones on. How bad was this? Wasn't that bad. All right, y'all, let's keep it moving. You know what I mean? If you're talking about flagrant 1 or 2, all right, cool. But if you better have made the determination that it's already a flagrant 1 or 2. Because if you go to the board thinking, we have to decide if it meets the criteria for a flagrant 1, for a flagrant 5, then you got to decide how flagrant are we talking. That adds another 2 minutes. And you look up, and it's a game that's 2.5 hours.
Right.
Bro, I can't be staying up this late every night. And this is the second round of the playoffs where you got a game on every night for at least 10 days, and it's good games and good competition. This is the best time of the year. Like, first round is overload. This is where it's a game on every night. I don't know about you, but I can't kick it like I used to. And I'm a night owl, and it'd be taking me out.
Yeah, like, I made some business decisions fairly early on. Like Golden State Denver was a first half series for me. And it became a first half series for me in game 2, where I was like, Denver had that big lead, and I kept checking out and checking in. And every time I checked out and I checked back in, it was like, oh, now the Warriors are only down 9. Oh, now the Warriors are only down 4. Oh, now it's tied. Oh, okay. And, like, it was just at every turn. It was like watching time lapse photography. Basically, it was like, oh, now it's sunrise. Like, oh, okay, this whole thing has happened. But no, I don't like the flow of the game and the way it's going. I will say this Memphis Golden State series is turning out to be a winner, dog. But, and I'm curious your thoughts on this as it ties to what's going on with Luka right now with the Mavericks. John Morant put up a 40 piece, also put up 31 shots, and shot 13 free throws. Now, you can make the argument they needed them, especially with Brooks being out of the game. They needed every point. But, man, you ain't winning for so much with these dudes taking 30 shots out there, no matter how well they're playing.
My question to you is, because he gives me very Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook, Allen Iverson vibes, right? Where everybody's looking at him to take all these shots, and he wants to take all these shots. Like Jaren Jackson Jr., he had the best game of his life theoretically in game 1. And then he wound up losing that game. And I thought, I don't know about you, I thought, oh, Memphis has to win game 1 if he's playing like that. And then they lose, and then Ja comes out and pulls up a 45 ball last night where he looks utterly unstoppable. My question, Bo, is, if not me, who? If not now, when? Because he looks and sees what's in front of him. And if there's no Gary Payton II in front of you, lunch meat. Because Steph ain't trying to foul you. Jordan Poole, you saw what happened to him in the fourth quarter. Klay Thompson, not moving as well.
Why would anybody be surprised? But point worth noting.
Not moving. Look, not moving as well, not shooting as well. I'll transition into this, Bo. Is it time to have the conversation about, hey, Klay, maybe you should come off the bench today? Because you can see the atrophy at least for me, in the second half of these games, where the muscle fatigue and everything else, and from 2 surgeries, it's catching you. And you haven't played basketball in over 2 years, and now you're playing. Now you've been since he's been back, ain't like he's taking a break. It's gonna catch up to you, and you can't afford to have him out there shooting 2 for 11.
Yo, Warriors fans, and we have our things, but I said early when was it Austin Reeves? They yammed on Klay Thompson, or did he block his shot? I can't remember which one it was.
I think he might have blocked the shot. Yeah, he blocked the shot.
Either way, hard to explain to the homies, right? Even to you from Orange County. But I was just like, yo, man, he looks done. Like, and I don't mean like he can't play basketball at all, but in terms of being an impact player, it's so much to ask. This dude's over 30. This dude had a torn ACL and then had a torn Achilles, probably the 2 most devastating injuries you can have as a basketball player. And what do you expect? Like, reasonably, what could anybody expect for Klay Thompson to still be giving you at this point? But I think for a lot of Warriors fans, they really think I think they look at the way he plays and they're like, okay, so what's the big deal? Like they said the same thing with Kevin Durant. And contrary to what you think, Kevin Durant, especially defensively, is just not the same player. He's not, I mean, they're not LeBron James, right? Like you just think they're going to be bionic and just shed off all this stuff. It ain't going to happen. Now they're lucky that Jordan Poole stepped it up. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Life can be overwhelming, and many people are burned out without even knowing it. Symptoms can include lack of motivation, feeling helpless or trapped, detachment, fatigue, and more. Burnout for me, my body just kind of stops working, and it's just hard to keep things going. We associate burnout with work, but that's not the only cause. Any of our roles in life can lead us to feel burned out, and BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you to prioritize yourself. Talking with someone can help you figure out what's causing stress in your life. I know for me, therapy really helps me deal not just with work issues, but family issues and just all kinds of things I'm not that comfortable talking to everybody about. Now, BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. The Right Time with Bomani Jones listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Bomani. That's betterhelp.com/Bomani. If you can get like Jordan Poole plus today's Klay Thompson gives you what you got out of the previous Klay Thompson, then okay, maybe you're cooking with gas, right?
Maybe.
But does Jordan Poole play defense like that?
No.
Okay.
No. He's a better shot creator.
You ever notice how much Jordan Poole looked like Jordan Clarkson did before they forgot to bring Jordan Clarkson home from the Scared Straight program?
I think he's got a little more, what's the word I want to say, Bo? He has a little more audacity than Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah.
A little more sass.
This is all I'm saying about Jordan Clarkson. I remember when Jordan Clarkson came in the league. You remember when Jordan Clarkson came in the league. You remember how he looked. And you go look at Jordan Clarkson right now. Like, people tend to make them kind of transitions in college in their lives. They don't play like 2-3 years in the NBA and then wind up like Jordan Clarkson looked like he got picked up for shoplifting. So they took him on a Scared Straight ride to juvie to let him know what he ain't want life to be like. And then halfway home, the advisors did the head count and was like, has anybody seen Jordan? Where's Jordan? And they realized they just left Jordan there, and then nobody turned around. Then Jordan came back, just tatted up all the way. Like, he out here looking like O-Dog in 2022. And he got to be about 30 years old by now, right?
I'm about to say, I think he was drafted like in 2012 or something like that. Like, this ain't 3 or 4 years in the league. This is like 10 years in the league.
College.
Oh, he's a super senior?
Yeah, he transferred.
Wow. Yeah, but okay, put it like this. If you go to Mizzou, chances is you really not embracing your expressions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, wait, but dude, then he spent like 2 years with the Lakers. Like, he did. You just looked up one day and it was like, yo, when did Jordan Clarkson decide that this was it? No shade to him. Just an unexpected change. I imagine that the people he went to high school with have no idea who that guy is.
Yeah, y'all seen Jordan lately? Yeah, we've seen him.
Yeah.
Is that the Jordan that we know? Do y'all anybody still check in with him? That's one of them things. Anybody check in want to make sure that he all right?
Yo,
that's one of them things.
Well, think about this, right? Like, it's one thing when you leave your mama's house and go off to college for a year, and maybe you come back with a bunch of tattoos. But can you imagine that you leave your mama, like you leave at 24, and then you come back with all these tattoos? Your mom was like, what, how, huh?
That'd be like my younger brother coming back with like leaving the crib, coming back with a bunch of like who are you?
Right, and how old is he?
25.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Man, look, wherever you got them tattoos, man, go take them off. That's what they're like, man. This ain't you. That's what it goes to. This ain't you. Who you been hanging around? That's the question. Who you been hanging around?
Like I say, we all, development's a different thing. PJ Tucker wasn't ready for the NBA until he was 27. You know what I'm saying? Like we all develop at different paces. Now, just to be clear, I am not saying that PJ Tucker became the PJ Tucker you see at 27. I am just making a comparison to his development as an NBA player and Jordan Clarkson and his development as a tattoo connoisseur.
We have to clear that up real quick.
Yeah. I didn't want I still go back to North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? I didn't need no confusion about what I had to say about the man PJ Tucker. No, we're good. Who do you think is gonna come out of it? The Grizzle or the Warriors?
I think this is one of those series, Bo, where Memphis gets better as the series goes along. They start picking up on stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure how big this Gary Payton loss is going to be, but think about it. Steven Adams is going to come back, right? Like, he's on the COVID list. He's going to come back. That is another big body. And Steph has not been shooting as well. He's been playing well. Like, he's jumped more into a mid-range game and stuff like that, which I think is really good. I would not be shocked if this went the full load. I think Golden State comes out of it because they're not afraid to win on the road. But I would not be shocked if Memphis won it. I think Golden State wins it. But but here's the thing. I don't even think it even matters who comes out.
Yeah, you think Phoenix gonna walk whoever get it?
They might. Dude, what are the answers? They got a great quietly best collection of wings in the league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And unfortunately, now everybody on this team want to play like Chris Paul. Everybody. Devin Booker talking trash. Never known Devin Booker to be talking like that. Like he's you see light-skinned dudes on the court. You're like, oh man, you talking? Oh, light work. You know what I mean? You call for the ball, except you ain't really getting it, right? Jay Crowder kicking people in the nuts. Kicking Luka in the nuts. Automatic flagrant 2. But that's my suggestion. Automatic flagrant 2. Whenever you kick, I don't care if it's intentional, not intentional. As soon as you see somebody go down and we call it a flagrant foul, as long as it's not purely accidental, where it's not a foul, if it's a foul, you're ejected. That's how we get all these shots out of the game.
This is my thing, man. You think you out here offering a hot take? You talking about flagrant 2 and automatic ejection? I'm like, at what point do we get the law involved? At some point we just got to call the cops, man. Like, I mean, nothing we working on seems to be going. Like, that was the thing with Draymond on reputation. You did used to be out here kicking people in the nuts, Draymond. Like that is where the reputation part then stems from, at which point I feel like you need to repent. Like, you got to have some recognition of the role that you play in the circumstances that we are now under, that we out here. But yeah, I saw Jay Crowder do that. I just can't. And like, how was you raised? You know what I'm saying? I just have all these questions. It ain't never. And if you go, here's the thing about it to me when these dudes be out here hitting people in the nuts. So when Chris Paul did it to Julius Hodge, he did it and then walked away, but he did not like try to act like he didn't do it. He tried to do it when nobody was looking, but he didn't try to act like he was doing something else. And by the way, hit the game winner in that game. That's the other part of it. Buzzer beater game winner, ran in the tunnel as the victor. Crazy, right? But with cats like Crowder, like when Draymond did it, this I just flail and throw my leg up thing. What a sucker. Like I say, if you're gonna do it, damn it, do it. Not that I think it's better, but this, oh man, I just didn't. No, man. No, and that's why call the cops.
You ain't got to call the
like,
cops. They already there.
Yeah, here's
they
my
already
thing.
there.
You talk about suspension and all that, flagrant 2 suspension, whatever. And the reason I'm with that is we have acknowledged that you just can't be out here hitting people in the head no more. Right? Like we recognize there are issues that come with that, all that. Got you. All I'm saying is take a poll of NBA players and be like, would you rather take an elbow to the dome or a kick square in the balls? Elbow me, dog. I bet you elbow me wins the poll. So why don't we have punishments in line with what is actually done? It ain't the same as the rest of your body, man. And it's where life comes from. How are we supposed to propagate the species? We out here tolerating this.
Man, at NBA games, there's cops everywhere, right? Except in Minnesota, for whatever reason. There's nobody around in Minnesota at NBA games. But at NBA games, there's cops around. Why? Somebody might need to get served with child support papers. How do I know that? Because I've seen it. And if you got those type of cops there that can serve you with child support papers, as I've seen a player get served at halftime, walking off the floor in Detroit once, a long time ago. That's one of them play the music things that we don't have to do. But Bo, if you got that, why can't we be out here? Hey man, it's time for you to go to the scared straight camp. You just going straight off the court. Don't change your clothes. Don't take off your jersey. You are going straight here to the scared straight camp that Jordan Clarkson went to. And we're going to play you videos, just like Dan and Poppy used to play all the time when they would laugh. Except we would say, do you want this to happen to you? If not, don't do it again.
I think I solved it. This is what we need a penalty box for. You make them play 5-on-4 for a couple of minutes. Oh, this will stop.
Bo, it's always accidental. Ain't nothing natural. I done played basketball my whole life. When I jump up, I jump straight up. My legs ain't kicking and flailing and everything else. And I ain't the most graceful athlete, but I ain't Bill Cartwright where it's just limbs and legs flying around everywhere. And you just manage to kick somebody squarely in the sweet spot. You don't kick him in the thigh. You don't kick him in the knee. Your leg manages to kick them in, shall we say, in where the anatomy is. You can only hit that if you aiming for it. I don't care who you are. You do that, Bo, you got to go. Whether it's sitting down, getting out of the game, flagrant 2. If I'm going to the replay booth to check and see if you kick somebody in the nuts, you already out the game. It's just a matter of me determining how long.
Yeah, maybe we need to start making it to where that player option in your contract ain't a player option no more after you do something like that. Like the message is not getting across. And you know what this is to me? I'm blaming the union. And I'm telling you why I blame the union. You know how when them cats is out there using steroids in baseball and people were out there like, yo, the players have to start taking, handling business themselves. You know what I'm saying? And they were like, yeah. So, they need to be agreeing to tougher punishments and the like. Like, they got to be some camaraderie, some brotherhood amongst them cats. And they got to stand up and be like, yo, we ain't going to settle for this. And we like that job. But you know what the problem is? Who had been running the union?
We know who had been running the union.
Who had been running the union?
Chris Paul had been running the union.
Right, so he ain't never going to do that.
King kicked you in the ding-a-ling himself.
Yes.
That's like, can you imagine? Chris Paul having kicked you there, right? Because Chris Paul is one of those, during the game, I'm a maniac, but when the game is over, I know how to flip the switch. Chris Paul kicks you there, elbows you in the mouth like he did to our buddy Jose. You know what I mean? And then after the game, man, it's good to see you. Remember Chris Paul? Remember when he was with the Clip? I think it was with Houston, and the boy Andre Ingram, had got from the G League and all that. Yeah. Chris Paul walked up to him, and everything else. 5 minutes later, Chris Paul kicking him in the nuts. Welcome to the league, baby. Everybody gets this initiation. Then after the game, hey man, how you doing? Hope the family's well. Man, the family ain't doing well. The future family ain't doing well. Yes. I got to go see a specialist about this.
Yeah, how the family doing? I got to take the jewels in to get inspected. How about that, Chris Paul? But I don't think Dallas got nothing for them boys. Like Devin Booker back and reasonably healthy. I don't think Dallas got nothing for them boys.
I think Luka's going to get you one, right? Best player in the series, get you one. I don't think the Jalen Brunsons and Spencer Dinwiddie's have enough. You know what I mean, to make you sweat. But maybe 2 games. What do you think? You think Dallas gets 2, or you think they getting dog walked?
No, I think they probably get 1, but I don't think Luka's the best player in the series.
Okay.
It's Chris Paul. That's not a slight to Luka. Luka is the best scorer in the series, probably even better than Devin Booker. Mm-hmm. He brings, he gives you a whole lot of things. But Chris Paul is so good. He's just so good. Now, what Chris Paul, it's interesting. You and I would both say if we need 45 tonight, Chris Paul can't give you 45 and Luka can give you 45. But right. If you do need 14 for 14 from the field, he can give you that, and that's pretty valuable, right?
That was pretty amazing. But it seems like Chris Paul's playing on like a minutes restriction, though. Can the best player be playing on the minutes restriction because he's old?
Fair. But we're into year 4 of Luka, and part of it is because of the rosters he's on. But we have not seen Luka cook and somebody else cook. And that's my thing with him. And that's the question I had with him and with Morant with taking all these shots is, it's kind of unfair to the other dudes to just be like, all right, be ready when I get around to getting you the ball. Now, with with Morant, that fourth quarter, it was basically him and Steph. It was just like, I got to go get these shots, and the shots were good. Like, he's getting deep into the paint, hitting these cats with imitation dream shakes. I don't be using dream shake just as that term, but it still was inspired by the shaking of dreams. It was just, but I know Dylan Brooks, I can't blame you, but you still need to be in a better situation. And that's just like I look at Boston. Hey, man, you ain't winning shooting 53s. I don't care how many of them you make.
Well, not just that, but Bo, can we talk about the fact that we've turned the page? We have turned the page. The 2 biggest names or the 3 biggest names in the playoffs this year, Jason Tatum, Ja Morant, Luka, they're here. The next generation is here. I just wrote about it, but you look up and it feels like the smooth transition from where like it used to be the summer of LeBron or the spring of LeBron, the spring of KD. And you still got some of these old guys hanging around. You know what I mean? But these young guys have taken over. And it feels good. It looks good. It feels good. They ain't scared.
Hold on. I think you left out guy number 1, though.
No. Because I don't look at him as next generation.
You don't think Giannis is next generation?
No. He's in that weird space. Because this is like year 9 for him.
Yeah, like do you think of Embiid as next generation?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I mean, because they were drafted 1 year apart.
That's a good question, bro. I don't know. I feel like Giannis and Embiid are like not. I don't know how to put them because it's not a smooth. You know what I mean? They don't belong to the last generation, and they don't belong to these new dudes either.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like they're the establishment.
Well, this is all I'm saying. Devin Booker is like 25 going on 26. If he hasn't turned 26 already.
He was 18 when he was drafted. He was drafted
he was born in 96. 15.
Okay, yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Those guys are now getting to that place in their careers where you're right. Like, they're there. And I guess it's fair because what you're saying is the age at which Giannis started to become that guy is the age that these guys are. So, yeah, I'm with you there. But I guess I still think of this as next generation because I'm thinking next generation is like post-LeBron Durant kind of generation.
I don't feel like Giannis is a stopgap because I feel like he's the establishment. We just didn't realize that he was the establishment. But that ascension started, 2017, somewhere around there. You know what I mean? It's 2022 now. Like, he's been here for a little while. And Tatum has been here. Tatum now is a better player than I thought he would be. And I thought Tatum was going to be really, really good.
You know what's wild about Tatum, though? You and I have talked about this. Defensively, he was much better, and all the advanced numbers bear it out. But some of the weaknesses of Tatum's offensive game are still there, and the numbers bear that out too. because in the end, he still likes to play for hard shots.
Yes. Well, the question is, if you take away the sophistication of his game, if you take away the things that he initially wants to do, he has no problem taking the hard shots. I don't think he wants to take the 20-foot step back. I think he wants to back you up, put you in the block, do the, fade away, stuff like stuff that's not necessarily high percentage shots. But if he's got a size advantage over you, you got no problem taking it. Yeah. That type of like he's playing more within himself, but playing smarter at the same time. Like, I don't think that he wants to be that guy, Bo. But man, that kid is Bo. Did you imagine him being this good?
No, because I was skeptical of him coming out of Duke just because it didn't go. I mean, he was not the best player on the team at Duke. And you could say he was injured and everything else. Fine. Luke Kennard was a better player that year than Jason Tatum was. Part of it was that he was playing out of position. Like, I get all of that. But it was still cause for skepticism about what you were going to get from Tatum. But where I still want more from him is, you say he doesn't want to take that 20-foot step back, but if Jason Tatum needs a bucket, he's going to that 20-foot step back. That's the holdup. But did I think he would become like one of the 10 best defensive players in the league, which he's been this year? No, did not ever see that.
That's what's turned him into a superstar-ish player, franchise-ish player. And I'll step back on you a little bit. It feels like when he needs a bucket, he's moving forward, not backwards. You know what I mean? He's taking a power dribble moving forward, and he's not playing with his foot. He's not playing with the ball.
Gotcha.
That, you know what I mean? Like, that's the difference that I see, that maybe Ime Udoka has sort of told him, hey man, if we need a bucket around.
Yeah.
And I think he's accepted that, because I don't feel like he's playing around anymore.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you this though. If they're going to shoot 45 threes a night, they're going to lose, and they're going to lose quickly. Like, they may have won that game because they were hitting those shots. They're not a good enough shooting team to be shooting 50 and 43 and think they're going to win a series. That ain't happening.
The question I always have with Milwaukee is, they always want you shooting. They want you shooting those numbers, but they don't want your best shooters doing it. And Boston found a middle ground a little bit last night, Bo, with attacking. You know what I mean? And getting Milwaukee off of their box and getting them moved, and guys are stepping into those shots as opposed to, sort of just sitting there waiting on the pass. Like, I'm not saying they found something, but that defense is hellacious. Like, Giannis worked the better game out of game one, but he didn't play like great. And then game two, you saw what happened. Like, it's on Bud to figure out some things, because Boston's defense is going to make up for that shooting 53s a game thing.
By the way, I guess we'll give it a minute or two here. Should we even bother talk about the Heat and the Sixers?
Oh, you mean Jimbo Harden? No, we don't need to.
No, this is not a good look for him at all.
He's cooked. We don't want to say it. You know what I mean? We don't want to say it. But Bo, I've been saying this for the past year and a half. He's done. And you're going to give him $200 million after this year? Bo, James Harden is done.
I cannot see any way possible Daryl Morey gives him all that money.
Okay. I'll push back on you in this way. Daryl Morey did not rely on any evidence that said James Harden is the best possible option for me to go get to play next to Joel Embiid, and he did it anyway because he doesn't know any better, right? Yeah. Why would he not say, and Daryl Morey is Mr. The evidence says this and this and this, but James Harden's the exception to that rule for him. James Harden's not even putting up shots. I'd rather you go 13 for 31 than 5 for 13. You don't even have the energy to get up the volume of shots. You look fatigued in the second quarter, and then we're going to put you in Miami for a couple of nights? Please.
Are they playing tonight?
Done. Yes.
I want to see what kind of pep he's got in his step after having a couple nights in Miami.
The pep ain't on the floor. I'll tell you that.
Let me tell you, one of my favorite things used to be to watch. The Lakers would always get them Sunday games on it, whatever the network was that had it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Man, if a team had their previous game on Thursday and then they played the Lakers on Sunday, you can go ahead and check off that win for the Lakers, dog. There was no doubt. There was no doubt how that game was going to wind up going. It wouldn't matter if they was playing the X-Men. The Lakers were going to win.
Dude, teams flying. People don't know. You play Thursday or whatever. You fly into LA that night. While you're in the locker room talking to these dudes, they could have just got finished getting waxed by 20 to the worst team in the league. They're on their phones, making plans. Hey, when that plane lands, we get up off that hangar. You know what I mean? This is where we going tonight. So you're going to switch time zones in LA, right? After getting waxed, go hang out that night, hang out the next night, and then hang out again. And you got to get up Sunday morning and on the West Coast for a 4 o'clock game, 1 p.m. game, whatever it is, lunch meet, schedule loss. You know who won that game? LA. And I don't mean the Lakers. The city won that game.
Yeah. LA won. Beverly Hills won. Wilshire won. You know what I'm saying? Like these streets is almost as undefeated as what's in them.
There's 2 things in life that's undefeated. Father Time and that thing.
Yeah, nah. It happened. So before we get out of here, I'm still feeling right now Bucks Suns. I'm still there.
I'm with you. But you telling me to trust Coach Bud against Miami?
I'm not saying, yeah. Here's the one thing about it, boy. That one's going to be a slug fest. That's going to be modern skill with 90 sensibilities. Slug fest. I can't wait.
A slobber knocker. That's what it's going to be. An old-fashioned slobber knocker, Bo.
Yeah.
And I don't trust Coach Bud. I trust Giannis, but I don't trust Coach Bud.
Yeah.
He's the same
make
dude.
A decision about Warriors-Grizzlies after game 3.
I can take that. I'll be there in the Bay for game 3. And that crowd will want blood. Like, I don't want Dylan Brooks suspended for game 3. I want him to play. Just so I can see the wine and cheese crowd get mad. Like, this ain't Oracle. This is Chase Center. And the Chase Center people, you know, with all their uptown sensibilities, I want to see how mad they get over the weekend.
Well, that's
what I want to do.
They're going to be as tired as John Morant daddy as I am becoming. So,
ooh, you tired of Ursher?
Look, man, at least LeVar Ball was trying to get paid. This dude just trying to be on camera all the time.
Well, and they keep finding them.
Yeah.
Right?
Like maybe it'll be different now that they got Karl Towns' daddy out of there, because they had like a comedy routine going. But here's what I want to see. I want to see, like, because you saw T. Morant like came up on Steph at the end of that game. Steph like, yeah. Get him. Right? Like Steph was like, yo, somebody come get your daddy, man. Like, there ain't gonna be no banter between T. Morant and Dale Curry. T. Morant mess around and say the wrong thing to Dale and be like, dog, I just don't how? I don't come on, bruh. How you let that go? All right, T. I'm just saying. Well, since you did, she here. You know what she said? Oh, you're right. My wife here. My wife here. You're right. I'm tripping.
Can't Dale, we gotta talk. And he gonna do the LeBron cup in his ear.
Yes.
How did you manage
yes.
to let that go?
Yes.
Is she around? I know y'all sitting in different sides of the arena. Is she around?
Yes.
Man, who you talking to? You know, Dale is approaching that old man don't take shit type of, you know what I mean, stage of his life. And then, no, here's the thing. Here's the part that you're missing. This is where Gary Payton 2 being out really hurts. T. Morant and Gary Payton, the original. That's what I wanted to see. Because if you've ever hung around Gary Payton, T. Morant is his type of party.
Yes, he is. Last thing before we go, I just want to throw out this stat, and I think it's interesting to think about with the Warriors.
Okay.
The Warriors were 8th in the league this year in three-point shooting percentage. Like, they're not what they were. They are a good three-point shooting team now.
They're no longer exceptional. They're more of a defensive team. than they are a 3-point shooting team. And at their best, they were both.
Yeah,
that was the power of it.
It looks the same because the names are the same, but the game is different. That's all I'm saying.
It looks the same because you added Jordan Poole.
Yeah. Like I say, it looks very similar and the names are familiar and everything else, but we shall see. But hey, man, that's Vinnie Goodwill. Check him out. Yahoo Sports covering the NBA. Check him out. NBA TV. Check him out. SiriusXM NBA Radio. Boy, everywhere, man. Proud of you, dog.
Proud of me, bro. HBO, Game Theory, season 2. How many episodes? Don't matter. We got season 2. And by we, I mean we all of us.
We got season 2. Make a jip out of this. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us here on The Right Time. We do this about 3 times a week. Gabe Bassane and Adi Khan handling things behind the scenes. Thank you, gentlemen. Remember, and thank you for watching on YouTube. Remember, follow The Right Time. Call 860-516-4119. Let us know about that time you or somebody you know got snatched up out of school by their moms because they were acting up. We need that from you. Rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater, and we'll talk to you guys in a couple of days. Take it easy.